Let's have a look at all the powers and items that are available for D.Va in Overwatch 2 Stadium. In this series of videos, I'm taking a look at all of the items and all of the powers for the heroes that are currently on the Stadium roster in Overwatch 2. And today we're taking a look at D.Va. Here we are in the practice range with D.Va. Alright, let's get started. As always, we're going to take a look at the items first. In the weapon category, there's only one item and it's actually an epic item. So let's have a look. It's called Multitask Mod. 10% weapon power and fusion cannons can now be fired while using defense matrix. So usually, if you're doing defense matrix, you can't shoot unless you're going to use this weapon item. You can multitask. Hence the name. Alright. We're going over to ability where we actually have 5 items. 2 rare ones, the first called Dehune Detonator. It gives you a 15% ability lifesteal. If your mech detonates while mid-air, increase self-destruct explosion damage and range by 200%. In other words, it's going to make the explosion on your mech considerably bigger.
Engaging thruster. Nerf this.
Yeah. That actually killed the Tracer who was standing behind me. And about all of the bots that were not hidden somewhere in the room. So yeah. That is definitely bigger. I would say you need that one. Next item is called Mastermind's Mitigator. Every 300 damage you mitigate with defense matrix reduces micro missiles cooldown by 1 second. So we're going to set off our micro missiles. 6 seconds. And then we eat everything, as you can see. Not dramatically, but it definitely helps. Next one is called Vesuvius Protocol. Named after the volcano, I guess. 10% ability power. Using self-destruct drops lava nearby that deals 30 damage every 1 second. Hence the name, I guess. Alright, let's give that a try. Bye-bye. Oof. Yeah, that is a lot of lava. It's everywhere. A good boost to your ultimate. Alright, moving on to the epic items. The first one is called Busan Blaster, 20% ability power. Your light gun gains secondary fire, which charges up to fire an explosive piercing shot that deals 80 damage. So when you're out of your mech, you basically get this explosive shot. On top of your normal shot. That has a cooldown to it, but...
What else is new?
Holy hell. Okay. Macro Missile. Micro missiles deal 25% increased damage and have significantly increased knockback. As I've said before, these guys have about 200 health. If I unleash my micro missiles, we do about 150 damage. Now, if you have that macro missile equipped, the damage is indeed 25% more, but you're also kind of pushing them away, which doesn't make it easier. I think the best way to do it is combine it with your normal fire, as any normal person would do. That way it becomes very effective. Anyways, Onslaught Ordnance. 15% ability power. The quantity and duration of micro missiles is increased by 20%.
Systems running hot.
Yeah, now you can one-shot them just with your micro missiles without pushing them away. But that was all of the abilities. Now we're going to have a look at survival. And the first one is called Galvanized Core, 25 health and 25% booster duration. So this is my booster without. And this is my booster with. As you can tell, I made it a little bit further. Plot Armor, 25 armor. While defense matrix is active, gains 65% damage reduction against beams. So that is going to help you with Zarya, basically. Solo Spec, 25 health. When you mitigate damage with defense matrix, gain shield equal to 10% of the damage mitigated, up to 100. And that will reset when your mech is destroyed. Alright, let's see what that looks like. We have it equipped. And anything they shoot in my matrix is going to become shield, which is going to return if I take damage, and that is up to 100, which is quite substantial. The only way it is going to disappear is if I let them destroy my mech. Now, if you set off your ultimate, that does not count as your mech being destroyed. It really needs to be destroyed by an enemy. But yeah, that could give you 100 shield. Alright, epic items. APM EMP. 50 shield, and when you use boosters, other allies within 60 meters gain 25% move speed for 2 seconds. So you're basically creating some kind of, I don't know, backdraft that allows them to travel with you. I guess you catch the drift. Chip Damage Diverter. 50 health when you deal damage to barriers while in your mech. Gains shields equal to 10% of the damage dealt up to 200. Resets when your mech is destroyed. Basically the same story reversed. If you're going to be shooting into barriers, you're going to gain shields through that damage that you do. Singyung's Pulse Plating. 50 health. Gain 5% of the damage mitigated by Defense Matrix as ultimate charge. The last item is called Nano Cola Nitrous. 50 health. When you eject from your mech, gain 25 increased max health and gain nano boost for 8 seconds. Now let me try if that works if you use your ult. It does. That's cool. You're basically distracting everybody with your ult and then shooting them in the face and killing them the old school way. I kinda like that. Those were all of the items. Let's move over to the powers. Focused Fusion. Fusion cannon spread is reduced by 66% and damage fall off range is 20 meters further. So yeah, the spread is pretty wide as you can tell. Damage of fall off is pretty bad too. You need to be pretty up close to do some serious damage. Unless you use the Focused Fusion. First off, you can see that it's way more focused. But also, that you can do that damage from a pretty distance. Look at that. It really allows you to poke with D.Va. That is kind of nice. Legendary loadout. Micro missiles are replaced with 6 heavy rockets, which deal 350% more explosive damage and have 100% increased radius. So yeah, we've used the micro missiles quite a lot in the last few minutes. Let's replace them. It is kind of swapping it out for more of a big explosion thing, more like you using a shotgun instead of a normal rifle. There are going to be circumstances in which it's handy, but anyways. Overstock, gain 1 extra charge of micro missiles. So basically you can shoot your micro missiles twice. 1 and 2. I think that one is going to be more useful than the previous one, for me at least. Countermeasures. When you mitigate 150 damage with Defense Matrix, automatically fire 2 micro missiles. This one is a little more difficult to show off because 150 damage is kind of hard to hit with bots, but you get the point. Face tanking. Defense Matrix heals you for 30% of the damage it blocks. Makes a lot of sense. Ultra Wide Matrix increases the size of Defense Matrix by 50% and its duration by 20. So, this is the normal Matrix and its duration. Let's have it recharge, and in the meantime we're going to equip this power. As you can see, it is considerably wider and it lasts a little longer. Ignition Burst. Boosters leave a trail of lava that deal 30 damage every 1 second. So on top of the lava you can get with your ultimate, you can also trail this one, which allows you to basically paint this whole place in lava. If you're going to add the Vesuvius protocol and do this, keep it going. Look at that. That's a lot of lava. I kind of sound like a Shaggy song. Anyways, Mecha Punch. When using boosters, quick melee deals 75% more damage. Mecha Punch eliminations reset the cooldown of boosters.
Don't mess with me.
Alright, can I use my booster again? Can I use it again? Keep using our boosters! You get the point. Stat boost. During the first 2 seconds of boosters, Defense Matrix recovers 100% faster. So, using Defense Matrix, till it depletes, and then you see it kind of ramps up a little bit at the start. It's going to help you to get your Defense Matrix back up pretty fast. Donkey Slam. During boosters, use Crouch to slam the ground, dealing damage equal to 20% of the max armor and knocking up enemies that are hit. This is one from the April Fools, but it's basically this one. You basically become a little wrecking ball. Express Detonation. Self-destruct explodes 15% faster.
Nerf this.
Yeah, that should, in theory, make it more difficult to get away. In my case, it didn't work because all these bots were just running. Cowards. And the last one is called Party Protector. When you use self-destruct, allies within self-destruct radius gain 250 overhealth for 8 seconds. If I do it this way, it's also going to work.
Nerf this.
Anyone that is in the neighborhood of the explosion is going to get the overhealth. However, the way you want to be doing this is this.
Nerf this.
Look at that. Ultimate destruction and a lot of overhealth. Just the way we like it. I do think D.Va has some nice, interesting options. I'm kind of surprised that we don't see it more often in Stadium. Maybe I should give it a try. Anyways, and that was everything for D.Va. Tell me, what combination of powers and items are you using? Let me know in the comments. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons and YouTube members. You too can become a member over on patreon.com/theomnicpost and right here on YouTube to unlock exclusive rewards. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.